Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. Chilling here with Angela Hiley, bringing you guys a long-awaited episode. We told you guys on the last one we were going to be gone for a little while. Don't you remember that?
No, I don't recall.
I think we did, didn't we?
I don't remember. I know I don't remember when the last time we did one. I thought it was around Mother's Day, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
It's been a little while.
Been a little while for sure, but you know what? That's because we only do them when the fuck we want to do them.
Well, I'd like to do them more often.
Right. Yeah, she's been trying to get me over here, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Been trying to drag him by his beard. It's just not working.
So, since the podcast, a lot of things have happened. The last podcast, we actually recently just got back from the Salt Lake City, Utah area, which was fucking absolutely beautiful. All you guys out there in Utah, my God. I have yet to see anything. When you step off Salt Lake City, you get off in Salt Lake City, and I literally get off the airplane, I get outside, and basically I just said, what the fuck, for like 35 minutes on the drive back to our hotel.
It was like... I felt like it's a hidden gem because I don't feel like a lot of people talk about Utah, of how beautiful it is out there.
It sounds kind of funny. It's like Utah. It doesn't sound like Colorado.
I don't know. Like when we were in Utah, I was like, this is like a hidden gem. I was like, this is God's country. That's what I flat out said when we were up in the mountains, looking at the mountains. I was like, this is God's country right here.
I said, God, you brought me here for a reason. But yeah, we already booked a second trip. We went out to almost like this motivational / big time fucking connection, really is what it turned out being, event. So it was called Lions Not Sheep, dude named Sean Whalen, which is a phenomenal motivator. Learned a lot of shit about his coaching style while I was there, like some of his group coaching style and stuff like that. And really just got a lot of things I'm going to be able to implement at some of my events. But we had a little bit of time to explore. We tried to get over to Park City, Utah, which is apparently supposed to be like this really fucking amazing ski resort town. And actually, when we go places, I like to turn off my highway mode on my GPS because we're trying to like be off the fucking highway and try to like explore the back roads and shit like that.
Yeah.
And just kind of, see what we can see and
get a real feel.
Get a real feel, and it takes longer, and you get to see. We like looking at homes everywhere we go, stuff like that. But what it actually did was it took us down this route where we were basically alongside a mountain most of the way, and then it had us kind of like cut back up, like kind of like V back into the mountain where it was like this very small stretch of road that actually got us into Park City. And once we got over there, that road was actually closed.
Yep. So
the only option was to turn the GPS back on, and it turned out like by the time we were clear over on this side of the fucking mountain, to get back on the other side, you had to go like 2.5 hours or something like that when we were almost there. So we decided we already booked a trip to go back in July, and we're going to be there. We're actually going to be staying in Park City. We're going to drive up, check out Ogden, which is north of Salt Lake City. And if any of you guys haven't been there before, it's literally the weather out there. If it's like 95 degrees, and any of you guys who are familiar with like humidity, or you live in an area like Ohio where I wake up every morning and like the grass is just fucking covered with dew.
Yeah.
It's very heavy humidity here. I mean, even today when it was probably like 90 degrees or 85 degrees, it's just very, very heavy humidity when you're walking in it. Out there, it was 95 degrees one of the days, and I'm like one of them dudes who, like, I was borderline fucking getting ready to get Botox on my armpits. like I'm borderline getting ready to get, because of how much I sweat and shit like that. Like, I would be at the Mega Media event, and they'd be taking photography of me, and you just see this big ass fucking ring around my damn armpit area.
Yeah.
Where I'm sweating and shit. Well, we went out there, 95 degrees, walking around all day, not one fucking drip of sweat on my armpit, which was something glorious to celebrate about. I mean, to me, it was like magic almost. I was like, wow. I'm like, this is fucking insane.
It's very magical.
So the heat out there is like super dry. When we were out there, it was kind of chilly in the mornings. But it just turned out like it just pisses me off, to be honest with you, because I look at the weather here, and then I look at the weather out there that's going to be for the next 14 days, and I'm like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, it's some amazing shit out there, guys. I've and not to mention, a lot of people, they talk about the Mormon religion, stuff like that out there. Really good people. I just got to say, like, the way that, majority of that area is like Mormon religion, and a lot of you guys know I'm very spiritual, but I don't go to church. However, the Mormon religion out there, you can tell they know how to fucking like manage a community, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because number one, it was like very clean, and maybe I just drove around, like we were even Salt Lake, Sandy. We were in some of the areas, like I seen trailer parks out there, don't get me wrong, but they were fucking nicer trailer parks,
Yeah, than what you would see here in
They were
Ohio.
trailer parks with fucking mountain views. I mean, like everywhere you looked out there was a mountain view, and it wasn't dirty. Like you look, like we live in a nice area here in Dayton, but I could consider like this area compared to the stuff that I seen out there like dirty in a sense. But when we live in a nice area, nice little town, many of you guys have been out here. But to compare it to that area of Utah, I mean, they just keep their shit clean. Nice people. I probably wouldn't get along as friends with many of them, but I don't really like friends anyway. So I don't, right?
Yeah.
I keep very small, except for you guys. Y'all are cool because you listen to my podcast right now. So I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, that is the best thing when somebody walks up and says they listen to the Tactical Podcast.
Yeah.
And I do feel like we're friends right off the bat.
Yeah.
But all you other motherfuckers who are not listening to the podcast, you'll never hear this, but fuck you. So that being said,
tell them what type of pair of shoes you picked up while we were out there.
Oh, I picked up a pair of solid gold shoes.
It was a statement piece.
Yeah. Part of this goes back to the new book that's going to be coming out, The Marketing Savage.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to go with a gold crest as the logo. And so I need to bring some gold into my life, And I thought, what better way? Actually, I sent, because look, this event, like, I'm a member of one of Sean Whalen's coaching type things or whatever. And the event was only $250.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like stupid cheap. I mean, I paid for $250 for her, $250 for me. So really the event cost me $500, which is stupid cheap for the amount of value that he had there.
Yeah.
I mean, he had some of the most incredible speakers out there and imaginable. To top it off, there was a guy who I've been following for a long time and actually ended up joining his mastermind, which is another price tag, but a lot fucking more.
Yeah.
But it's some amazing shit. I'm already getting value. He's getting ready to put me in front of an audience of about 80,000 people. So that being said, it's definitely worth it for me, especially having a book launch coming up.
That's true.
But I had to bring a little gold into my life just because of the gold logo. If you guys haven't seen on my Facebook page, or I'm sorry, my personal page, just posted a little while back, kind of the look of the logo. It's off to the editor right now. We actually, for the very first time, we were able to meet my book editor out in Utah. And she's moving out there, by the way. So it was a lot of good connections. I mean, we were literally sitting on the stage with people that were, I mean, there had to have been like billions of net worth sitting on that stage when we were out there. And to just physically get to learn from people who have been so phenomenally successful, that's the kind of room I want to be in, guys. I don't want to be in a room where I'm the fucking smartest dude. I don't want to be in the room where I'm the most successful guy. I want to be in the room where I can learn from people that are smarter and more successful than me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring my unique skill set to help them as much as possible because I know in turn, they can help me as much as possible as well.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys got to think about. What room are y'all sitting in, right? What room are you guys getting in? What type of people are you associating yourself with? Does it make you feel disempowered to be around people that are more successful than you? Because if it does, get that shit the fuck out of your head.
Yeah.
So whichever board member inside of your head that's making that decision, fire that motherfucker, because you need to be around people that are going to move you. You got to be around people that are at a higher state of life than what you are currently.
Yes.
Yeah, that was part of the reason why I just joined this mastermind group, because I know that it's expensive, a real expensive group, and I want to be in a group with people that can write a check for what it costs to be in that group.
Mm-hmm.
And to surround yourself with that type of people, it's like everything rises with the tide, right? So everybody will rise with the tide, but if you're literally the smartest guy in the room or the most successful guy in the room, what had actually had somebody called it like the king of the retards or something like that.
Who said that?
Mark Evans, right? So you feel good because you're the king of people that are beneath you, right? I probably shouldn't even said retard, but you guys know what the fuck I mean. You guys are dent guys. You don't give a shit.
No, I get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in this day and age, you got to be careful what the fuck you say, though, right? Shit, I bet somebody probably call me racist for that.
I'm so over this shit. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm over it all. I don't even I don't even really watch the news anymore. Like before, when all Corona and shit was going on, I was like tuned in and then like tuned out because I'm just like, oh, and then now all this rioting shit, and I'm so over it because it doesn't even address the real issues. I'm being completely honest. It really doesn't. This is just a way for the media and the government to divide us, and actually, instead of like coming to actually having real conversations about the shit that really happens out there. I mean, I am totally for police reform because, unfortunately, you have people that have a position of authority, and then certain ones feel that they are above the law, and they go and they do stuff to other human beings that they shouldn't be doing. And I've even told this to John. I was like, I don't care if they've had alcohol in their system or they're on some type of drug. Like, that's one thing. Like, you have to handle that situation totally different compared to if somebody was sober or in their right mind. And I just feel that when someone is under the influence of something, that it's okay if the police go ahead and hurt this individual more. It's like it gives them basically an excuse. And I mean, that's what it really boils down to. You know what I'm saying?
And you're going to find that in inner cities much more than small communities, guys. I mean, your small community police rarely do shit that's out of line compared to bigger cities. But here's the whole thing about the entire situation is, number one, everybody agrees that what happened was horrible. An individual getting killed by a knee to the neck. Everybody fucking agrees that police officers agree that situation's horrible. Yes. Everybody agrees that situation. I agree that situation's horrible. And I agree that the police officer needs to be punished who actually did that, and the people that were part of that all need to be punished, right? So I agree with all that. Everybody does. You could almost go ask anybody at any part of society, and I would guarantee you like 95% of the people agree with that.
Yes.
But here we got this huge racial divide coming because of that. And here we got this big racial, situation because of that, right? And it's like, no, we all fucking agree that that's bad. Mm-hmm. We all agree that is absolutely horrible. We all agree that shouldn't have happened, And there's two things. I mean, what people got to understand, there's two deals. I mean, there's the statement that Black Lives Matter, And then there's also the organization Black Lives Matter, right? The statement Black Lives Matter should be super important because all lives should matter, right?
Yeah.
And specifically, man, if you look at some of the statistics of how many black folks that go to jail compared to white folks versus versus the actual population count, all that kind of stuff. There's some fucked up shit there. And let me motherfucking remind you, who doubled down on that shit more than anybody on planet Earth was Bill fucking Clinton.
Yes.
Bill Clinton doubled down on the prison system. That's the problem with the Democratic Party. I'm going to, I don't give a fuck, right? Because that's the problem with the Democratic Party, right? They say that they're doing all this amazing shit, and then they turn around and do the exact fucking opposite. Bill Clinton imprisoned more fucking black people than any president on planet Earth, tripled down on that shit, okay? Tripled down on that shit. And so did Reagan with the war on drugs. It was a fucking failure, Yes. But Clinton doubled down on that shit by expanding into the prison systems and, more and more shit. And there's so many laws, And then some of you guys heard on some of the other podcasts, you all know where I stand. If somebody didn't do something if it's not force or fraud, I don't give a fuck. Literally, if somebody somebody should not be breaking the law unless force or fraud. If they are hurting somebody by force, or if they are defrauding somebody out of their money or stealing from them, whatever it is, force and fraud are the two laws that should be enforceable. This whole war on drugs and all this shit, it's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
It's all a bunch of bullshit. And I'm not even saying that because I'm not saying that because I want to go do a bunch of drugs. All right. What I'm saying is that literally it's proven. Look, y'all, if y'all can't keep drugs out of prison, you're not going to be able to keep drugs out of a city. Okay. Mm-hmm. And to top it off, it just literally they're just tossing people in jail left and right. You want to cut off the drug dealers? You want to cut off the money supply? Make it legal, tax it, and educate people, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a little bit of problem on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to Democrat and Republican, okay? And I really don't care if I piss everybody off, to be honest with you, because this is my podcast. I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I want to say on it. So here's the two spectrums of the Democrat and the Republican, okay? So the Democrat, the hardcore Democrat, right, they want to take away people's rights by taxing them. They want to take away their money, which at some point, at one point, when does it become slavery, right?
Yeah.
At one point, when does taxing actually become slavery? How many hours am I working for me? How many hours am I working for the government? How many hours am I working for everybody else? At what point does it become slavery, right? So there, you got literally the Democrats sawing away at the log of liberty on one side of the fucking log, right? Imagine a log sitting in the middle of this fucking with a big ass saw. And on one side of it's the Republicans and one side of it's the Democrats, right? And then the Republicans come along with their shit and they say, well, we don't want you to do gay marriage. Who gives a fuck? We don't want you to do this. We don't want you to do that. Illegal to be gambling, all this shit, right? Bam, right there, the fucking saw slides. Oh, drugs, drugs are bad. Right there, the saw slides to the other side, right? When the Republican win. And then all of a sudden Democrat wins, the saw fucking slides to the other side, right? And at each side, they're shaving off little pieces of our freedom. Yeah. And guess who the fuck is in the middle? Who's the log in the middle? That's the American people. Mm-hmm. And with the Democrat and Republican system, with primarily the Republicans taking away rights based on personal choices and shit like that, and then the Democrats taking away our rights based on taxing and redistribution of wealth, we are the American people sitting in the middle with this two-party system. It's literally a saw just going back and forth, while the tree of liberty is being fucking chopped right down the middle.
That's true.
So, I mean, look, I like Donald Trump because he's a businessman. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I don't agree with everything that he says or everything that he does. I like him because he understands business, and it's about fucking time we actually got somebody in our country that understands numbers because, guess what? A country does need, at some aspect, need to be ran like a business.
Yes.
And at some aspect, and I agree with, China getting away for the longest time. How many laps were we going to allow China to lap around our economy, taking money out of it, right, and not putting back into it, right? That just wasn't a good trade agreement for us.
No.
So how many times will we continue let them lapping our economy and extracting money out of it and then loaning us the money back until they fucking own us?
Do you think that politicians knew what they were doing, or do you think they were just not the brightest when it came to that.
I think some of them do. I think some of them are just dumb as fuck. I mean, look at Joe Biden. I mean, that guy's a dumb motherfucker. I mean, there's no getting around that. If Joe wins, he's going to be the biggest puppet on planet Earth because he can't fucking make a decision on his own. They had to hide him during the Obama presidency.
That's true.
Like, that dude cannot make a fucking decision. He doesn't know if it's literally if it's his wife or his sister half the time.
That's true.
And you know, you can just tell he's just going to flow with the political whims. And, you know, the whole thing about the rioters and stuff like this, I was looking at it like this. People were like, you know, when's the president going to step in? They're fucking tearing apart democratic cities. Let them rip them motherfuckers apart. Let people just look around and realize I moved to this motherfucking city that's ran by Democrats, and now my city and my businesses are getting ripped apart. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Give them cities what they deserve. Give them the fucking economy they deserve. Leave them with the shit they fucking thrown upon themselves. That's what I say. You know, you guys want to fucking pillage your economy? You want to jump in, or you want to pillage your fucking cities? You want to beat windows out and fucking jump in there and laugh and smile and steal shit? Well, guess what, motherfuckers? How about you guys just lose every business that you actually have in that area, and you can just fucking downtrod your whole society and just live in fucking poverty? I don't give a fuck. You know, I mean, why would the president want to step into that shit? People are fucking, you know, and look, I grew up around the type of folks, and I mean, you know, I think I've said on this podcast before, I'm like an individual who could have not only been, I could have went two different ways, guys. I could have been a really highly successful fucking drug dealer or gang leader or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, I could have went that direction with no problem. You know, yes, I decided I went in the direction of business, but I could have went that direction no problem because I know him. I was around him. I mean, I've told you guys before, one of my best friends was a crack dealer, still is a crack dealer.
But that's until you met me, though. Right.
So, so I know what they're thinking, guys. Everybody talking about this bullshit about the looters. The looters are fucking, maybe it might be induced and started by this outside force, you know. I think they call it like Antifa or like college kids or whatever the fuck it is. What were you calling it, though? I forget. What was I calling them?
You're calling them Velveeta.
Oh, Velveeta. I was actually going to do a video about that, about the Velveeta people. So, sounds a lot like the Antifa Velveeta. So you know, where was I going with that? Okay, so I've lived around, and I grew up around the folks that would make poor decisions. Let's just say, if they knew, the people that I grew up with, if they knew that the cops were occupied and the police couldn't be called, or it was taking them like 8 hours to respond to a call, there's no fucking way that pawn shop sitting across the street would fucking sit there without them breaking into it.
That's true.
And here would be their logic behind it. You know, and a lot of you guys who live in suburbia your whole life and all that shit and haven't been around people like that, their logic is this: they know somebody's going to do it, so it might as well be them that actually gets that come up.
So that way they can get first dibs on everything.
They can get first dibs on everything, and that's what happens in these communities. Okay, now it's like I was talking to the wife. I was like, could you even imagine that shit happening right here where we live in Centerville?
No.
The people of the community would not join in and start fucking shit up and stealing shit.
No, we would actually, in Centerville, we would run them out. That's what would happen.
People would actually protect the businesses here. It just wouldn't happen in this area.
Yeah.
And people wouldn't allow it to happen. But down in them areas, in the cities, it's just second nature for folks down there, and at education level, whatever you want to call it, it's second nature for them when shit hits the fan to fucking break into places and steal shit, especially if they know the police can't be called.
Yeah, that's true.
As you've seen. But like I said, like, I honestly, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Do that, you know, people do that shit to their own community. They got to live in that community.
Yeah.
I don't think they should get any help at all. You know, they should have to, them communities, I want to see people moving out of these communities, where, especially where the governors and the mayors and all this shit are actually like.
It's more so the mayors than anything.
Yeah, like the mayors are actually like kind of like siding with the people that are doing the looting and shit like that. Now, I'm not talking about the protesters because a peaceful protest is a good thing.
Yes.
But the people that are doing the looting and shit like that, you know, and the mayors that are actually siding with these people, like saying that they're going to literally throw you in fucking jail for opening up your business, but if somebody burns the motherfucker down, it's okay.
That's
you know?
so wrong.
The mayors that are actually, I hope their fucking cities turn into the shitholes that they actually fucking just made them. Because I hope anybody of any decency just gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And says, guess what? This is not safe anymore. The community that I'm surrounded by right now is too volatile for me to live here.
Yeah.
And get the fuck out. Any bit of money that's in them areas should just fucking leave. You know what? And come over to one of my communities where they actually protect your business if shit hit the fan.
I
Come
mean,
on into my community.
In all honesty, it's probably going to happen. We're going to see that.
You know it. Anybody who's living in a major city like that has got to be thinking they made a fucking poor decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, I guess that's our rant on the rioters.
Yeah.
They had a peaceful protest here locally, and it wasn't a big deal.
No.
Even though I knew for a fact it started over by my barber, his barber shop, and we went and took a drive down the road and was checking it out. And I told the wifey, I said, I guarantee you fucking Luke's in that barbershop with a shotgun right now. And later on, I went to get my hair cut, and he's like, oh, yeah. Because he has bug-out bags and shit in there and multiple guns and stuff like that. And, I mean, he was literally waiting for one of them to come. It probably would have been his day, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really wish people, like, would have shot more of them. I really wish that when people were looting into businesses, there was more like fucking dudes just running out there with guns and just laying everybody out.
You know, in all honesty, it's really sad that it has to come to this stuff. I mean, I think, like, what was it this morning on our walk, how you were talking about control, how you were talking, like, remember how we were talking about the elites or whatever, how there's probably like a group of them that are like,
yeah,
like horribly, like horrible bad people, and then you have like another
Sure.
group of them that are actually like really good. And I told John, I was like, because we were talking about control, I was like, who in their right mind would want to be control over control so many people? I'm like, that would be so fucking stressful.
Well, I mean, that's what it comes down to with, you know, pure evil. I mean, they want to control people. They want to enslave people.
But also, what did you say? You said there's no sleep for the wicked.
Oh, no rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked.
Yeah.
Also, look a little bit deeper. I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm not going to go any deeper into it. But any of you guys out there, look into the curse of Ham, and look into why there's certain cultures that will remain, you know, in bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And just understand that this is a fucking long story, guys. I mean, this goes back a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is, we're not fighting a battle of black and white. We're not fighting because, you know, I've got plenty of black friends that they want to make 2 and 2 out of this. And, you know, you see a lot of the people that was on TV that was inducing these riots and getting things. I mean, they were little fucking white kids running around. I guess there was a white kid recently, little white Antifa or whatever you want to call them, Velveeta or whatever you want to call them, went to go hit somebody in the head with a skateboard and got fucking shot. Good. You hit somebody in the fucking head you go to hit somebody in the head with a skateboard and you get fucking shot. You deserve that shit. You deserve to fucking die because you're swinging an object at somebody that could kill them.
Was it like a young kid that did this?
I don't give a fuck who it was. I don't care what age they are. You swing a fucking skateboard at somebody, you take the risk of getting shot in the fucking face.
Yeah, but it's so sad though, because like most of these people that probably belong to this Antifa stuff, they're like young kids. They're not that old. And what is it? It's like when you're young, you know, like you think you know everything and this and that. And then it's like,
they need a serious fucking ass beating. There was a video.
Yeah, they need a good ass beating. But I don't want to see.
There was the greatest video I ever seen when a group of them fucking, and I can't even remember what city it was, but there was a group of them rioters that came around a corner, and there was about 100 big old fucking dudes, that full size fucking grown men that came around the corner to meet them. And you check it out on YouTube. Just Google, you know, rioters getting beat up or something like that. I'm sure you'll find it. And these motherfuckers beat the dog shit out of them dudes. Like they were showing slow motion punches where you get these little skinny, you know, faggots out there with their little face mask over top of them and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Little dudes out there that think it's awesome to punch out soccer mommy's windows and that they're badass because there's 10 of them jumping on some old dude, getting the fucking dog shit beat out of them.
They have to be the age of like 18 to, I'm going to say up to 25.
18 to 25, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like, I mean, don't get me wrong. They do deserve a good ass beating, but it's sad when a young kid that does something that doesn't really like know and hasn't been around to actually lose his life over something so stupid. So stupid.
Swing a fucking skateboard at somebody, you deserve to be shot in the face. Good. I don't give a fuck who it is. Yeah, it's an example that needs to be set.
Well, yeah.
And it's deeper than them kids. It's their fucking parents. Like, you don't see my kids going out in the street wanting any part of that shit.
No.
And it all stems from the parents and just fucking horrible parenting. It's you're looking at the decay of our culture, of our society.
Oh, I wouldn't
right
say
there.
that. Well, I mean, yeah, but there's still a lot of good out there, though.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of good out there. I mean, I've even sat back and looked at it as, man, this is an exciting time to be alive, really. I mean, yeah, I have my personal feelings about them. I do think that people ought to get out there and fuck them up and take care of them and, handle their shit. And if they want to burn down their own cities, let them burn down their own fucking cities. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it's still an interesting time to be alive. Like, we're seeing so many things. And, again, when it comes back to the point where it's a fight of good against evil.
It is.
I mean, it's a fight of good against evil. And I'm not even talking about, like, even the cop that did that put his knee on that, on George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
Put the knee on his neck is evil, right?
Yeah.
So right there's the battle, the good against evil, right? But
Yep.
does that make every white person evil? No. It doesn't. That dude was evil, okay? That doesn't make white versus black. This should not be a white and black thing, okay?
No.
I mean, like I said, I've been around black people my entire life. They're some of the coolest, realest motherfuckers ever. But I just don't understand how some of them get convinced so deeply that the Democratic Party's actually fucking doing something for them when, here's the problem. They listen to what the Democrats say. They don't, the ones that really believe in that Democrat Party, they listen to what they say, but they don't, like, hold them accountable for their actions.
Yeah, they don't actually look at, like, their track record of the shit that they've done.
The Democratic Party will fucking steal your lunch, eat it in front of you, and tell you they didn't do it.
And
they will
believe
steal
them.
your lunch. They'll steal your lunch right in front of you, eat it right in front of you, eat your fucking pudding, eat your sandwich, eat your chips right in front of you, and then they'll look at you and you'll say, "Hey, man, why the fuck did you just steal my lunch?" They'll say, "I didn't." Right? And they're not held accountable for this shit, like Bill Clinton, like doubling, like tripling down. No, here, they hold him accountable now because it took them years to finally admit that it was a mistake. And now they say, well, at least he admitted that locking up millions of black men was a mistake.
And then when Hillary ran, she was basically saying during her campaign how if she was elected that she was going to go back in there and, like, change things.
Shit.
She wouldn't have changed shit. She would have done something to where it would have.
She was the Secretary of fucking State in Obama, during Obama's presidency. And look at Joe Biden. The motherfucker's been in there, 30, 40 years, hasn't changed shit, done shit. Second most powerful man in the fucking world. Vice President of the United States, didn't do shit.
Didn't do shit.
Didn't do shit. What did Obama do to free all the the African American population from our prison system? What did he do? Shit, as far as I know, it's gotten worse. It got way worse under Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
But they haven't done shit.
Yeah, and I would say, like, the majority of the people that are in prison shouldn't even.
And if y'all count, like, whatever, adding, like, welfare or increasing benefits from the government, that's enslavement. That is enslaving anybody, white people and black people.
Because I think
I'm sure there's way more white people on welfare than there are black people on welfare, but that's
what it does is a lot of times is, like, it'll get you trapped to where it pays.
You don't want to lose it.
Yeah, because, like, if like, I don't know, people that I've known that have been on that stuff, like, it's basically if they go to work and they're working their ass off in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That they're basically losing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or they're just cutting even. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like purposely, entrapping them on purpose.
So next time they lose their housing. By the time they lose their housing, by the time they lose their food stamps, by the time they lose the extra cash they're given, by the time they lose their cell phone, by the time they lose, whatever else it is, food stamps, all that shit, it's like, why would they want to go get a job?
Exactly.
It's a risk. That would be risky to lose all this shit that I'm being given to actually have a job, to go out and
but then what happens is like women will fall into that, and the next thing you know, they're having more babies, and it's like, come on, women, like really think about it.
Right. So I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me just talking about welfare for this entire podcast.
No, but I was basically going to say is that women do not need to be popping out a shitload of kids if they are single, because that's going to even be harder for them to be able to achieve any goals.
Yeah, plus, most of us
For
dudes
real.
out here, we don't want a bunch of fucking kids running around talking shit, trying to...
Well, men need to watch where they stick it, and women kind of need to be more picky.
Yeah, so... which neither is ever going to happen, but,
No, it's not.
Hey. So just a heads up, guys. Next month, I am going to be launching tickets for our next mega media event.
Ooh.
So I know many of you guys have been hitting me up and asking me when we're going to be launching ticket sales. Shit has been crazy, but we're definitely going to be opening up ticket sales definitely sometime in July.
Yes.
Which is going to be for our event, which is the second week of October. And it's going to be in San Diego, California at Mike's Shop. We're actually kind of doing, that was literally where Mega Media event number 1 was.
Yeah, it's where it all started.
So we did the very first Mega Media event at Mike's Shop in San Diego, and now we're on a Mega Media 5.
Yes.
So we went full circle. Mega Media 2, we did that out in Arlington, Texas at Anson.
Yeah.
It was actually down the road from Anson. We were using Lee Roth had a shop out there, and Craig was renting out part of it, and we actually used their shop.
Yeah.
The third event was in Dayton. Was actually at our old location. The fourth event, obviously, was just recently last October. Was in Greeley, Colorado at NOCO Auto Reconditioning, and that's Cole and Michelle Fox's shop, which was an insane environment.
Yes.
But Mike's shop is amazing as well. Really nice. And we've learned so much. We've learned so much about setting the right backgrounds. So, at the very first event, we had to cut out a lot of the backgrounds of the photos, just because we allowed people to walk behind the photography and shit like that.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're like, holy fuck, there's Vince D'Alessandro's face in the background. So we actually had to get clean shots of the background and cut out the background and have we had to do a shit ton of work to get the photos to look the way that they did at the first event. So little by little, the second event, we're like, okay, we need to make sure that we actually have an area specific for photography. Each time we learned more and we learned more and more, which basically reduces the amount of editing, reduces the amount of, just a shitload of photos that we had dropped on us that actually we had to make all these edits and changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you guys have also grown and everything.
Yeah.
Our
photographer,
yeah.
Same photographer, we use the same guy every event, David, and he has also... Every event, he dials in his game more and more. And then to top it off, we actually just recently we had a photo shoot with Mike for our hailads.com client base. And again, David just knocked it out of the park. He's an amazing photographer. We actually fly in his equipment. I know I've told you guys, we actually fly in I think I had to insure $125,000 worth of photo equipment. That he uses to set up. I mean, it looks like you're stepping onto a professional.
It is a professional photo shoot.
Well, yeah, it is, but you're stepping on. It's more than that. It's like you're stepping into like an entire set. You know?
It's like, here's your moment, guys. Get ready.
Yeah. So And that being said, we got some really cool ideas for the next video series. And a lot of folks that buy the websites from me end up coming out to the events because they want to have their own photos on their website. And they also want to have the marketing material that we use. Like, for instance, anybody since day one, we keep a copy of their photos on hand. So anytime that they need the link to get their photos, if they misplace them, something like that, we always have that on hand. We always have that available for our clients. So what happens is when we start running hail ads for a client, or when we start doing work for a client, and if they've previously attended the event, we can just pull right from their folder. Mm-hmm. And we've had folks that that are our hailads.com clients that have attended 2 or 3 events.
Yeah.
Which essentially gives us a huge pool of content to draw from. Mm-hmm. And that content is pure gold. It's pure money. I mean, we use that to, you can see a noticeable difference when it comes to gaining leads with a really crappy photo and an amazing, well-shot photo.
Yep.
Huge difference, guys. So all that shit's money. It's money in the bank, and it also can style up your website to the point where, again, when you have a really nice, beautiful looking website, clients, customers, better user experience, you're more trustworthy, much less likely to deal with price shoppers, because price shoppers are usually looking for somebody who looks super cheap.
Yeah.
For instance, if they find you on Craigslist and you get a Craigslist ad that looks super cheap, right? You would expect when people find you on Craigslist to find a bunch of fucking price shoppers. Mm-hmm. When they find you and you have a beautiful website styled up, you're really building rapport, you're showing off that you've got reviews out there in the market and stuff like that, you're going to drive people that are that of a higher quality. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. So it really just depends what crowd you want. If you're okay with price shoppers and people paying you less money to do, for you to do dent removal work, then that's fine as well. I'm sure there's folks that like to deal with them kind of people.
I guess so.
You think so? I would say that you devalue yourself, though.
I know. It's like, come on now.
I would say that you don't even understand your own value.
We all need to be making a shitload of money.
Like dealing with them motherfuckers, So, anyhow, y'all. Well, we kind of went on our rants. I went on my tirade.
I do want to ask you something. What's the one thing that you took out of our trip when we were in Utah? Is there anything that sticks out?
So are we talking about from the event?
Yeah. I mean, the event that we went to, or being there in Utah.
Yeah. So I'll go to the event. Okay. So one of the things, like I told you guys, there was multiple speakers. There was probably billions of dollars worth of, net worth when you actually add up all the speakers sitting on the stage. And one of the dudes there, his name's Aaron Wags, and he's not really popular in the motivational scene or whatever, but the dude has, he owns Wagner Capital. And the dude is fucking killing it. And one of the things that I took away from him is that, granted, the dude lived in Canada. He grew up poor. And he knew that he had to get over to the United States. He knew he had to get here because, the United States is the land of opportunity, right? Mm-hmm. Still is anyway. So what he did was he hustled his ass off. He became a good football player in Canada, to the point to where colleges started looking at him here in the United States. And then he actually got recruited by a college here in the United States. Well, he hustled his ass off, continued to fucking, play his face, practice his face off, whatever. And he got picked up by the NFL. Now, what he actually told me is that he was getting, very tiny checks in his locker, which probably not super tiny, but much smaller than, he literally said there's players on his team that would open their locker every week and there's a fucking $1 million check in there, right? Open up your locker, bam, there's $1 million check. And he seized an opportunity, right? Because he literally seen these guys who were getting these $1 million checks spending like $150,000 a night on a weekend. And he actually approached him and said, hey, man, if I invested your money and at least just broke even, you would win because you would have money in the future.
Yeah.
So he convinced a bunch of football players to invest with him, which eventually built his investment firm, or Wagner Capital. And now he invests for like motivational speakers. You know what I mean? Like he only works with people he wants to work with. And dude is fucking flipping phenomenal. But one of the things that stuck with me is that he said he had a little scooter when he moved up here from Canada. You know, like a little scooter you ride around. And he said he would ride up to the, up to the hills of Alpine, Utah. And he said he would be a little bit suspicious if there was only like one or two multi-million-dollar homes up there. He would be like, man, it'd be kind of hard to become a millionaire if there was only one or two multi-million-dollar homes.
Yeah.
But he said he walked up there and there's multi-million-dollar homes as far as he could see. There's everywhere up on the mountains, up on the cliffs, like everywhere. And what occurred to him is that it can't be that hard. It can't be that hard. And, some of the other things that he talked about is just, he worked with some of the wealthiest, like super fucking wealthy people, and they're no smarter than me and you, but they just apply their knowledge and they apply their expertise in an area that, and continuously go after it and continuously excel,
Yeah.
So that was probably one of my bigger takeaways. And also that focus is a superpower, but to understand a superpower, you also have to understand the enemy. And what is the enemy? Is distraction.
Yes.
And that came from Ryan Stewman.
And you were just talking about Aaron because he said something, and this is stuck with me ever since I heard him speak. He was my favorite, and also Coffee Anderson was. You can follow him on Instagram and check him out on YouTube as well. He's a country singer, a really good dude, just a really good guy.
And he's had the struggle because he's a black dude in the country industry, and he's not so welcome in a lot lot but his attitude is fucking amazing. Like you guys wouldn't even believe.
I know
you listen to his shit.
If you met him, if you ever get the chance to meet him and give him a hug, I'm telling you, he's just got amazing.
Yep.
Amazing.
And he doesn't act like a victim. He doesn't act like a victim he's just a good human. He's like one of those humans that, amazing.
Is like, you need somebody like that in your life. But back to what Aaron said. Aaron said a quote, and has stuck with me. It is, perfection is fool's gold.
Ain't that the fucking truth?
When he said that, I was like, I don't know. Something just totally made sense from going to that seminar out there, that event, and then spending the time that we did in Utah. Like, I've came back a different person. I don't know. There's just something different going on inside of me. Yeah. I can't quite figure it out, but I
mean, and that's the thing, guys. Most people delay starting because they want everything to be perfect. They want all the stars to align and all this kind of stuff.
And it's never going to be like that.
And, people like me are just ripping into shit, and opening up new bags of worms because I like to solve problems.
Yeah.
So whatever I dig into, I know there's going to be a slew of problems that come along, but I know I've got the ability to solve them as I go.
And oh my God. And then John took me up in the mountains. Let me tell you how much this was it was so out of my comfort zone that it was just like, I thought I was going to piss myself, but I was just so proud of myself. And it was so beautiful when we did that big loop up in the
we did the Alpine loop. And any of you guys who live out there, been out there, it's like being on riding, the cartoon where they're riding around at the top of a mountain.
Yeah, that's what it was like.
That's what it's like, but it's like an hour and the roads are fucking really, and they're the whole edge, it's like there's no guardrails. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and there's one way. Well, I mean, there's traffic coming down the opposite side, people in trucks and trailers, and you just have
you would never think you could fit in there. Like a fucking a diesel truck could come by with a tow and a camper, and you're like, holy shit.
I know, right? It was amazing. It's totally God's country out there. Yeah. I mean,
we rented a Jeep amazing. Sahara when we were out there.
I know. And I told John, I was like, when we were out there, he was wanting to do some type of sports car. And I'm like, no. I'm like, go. I was like, we need a Wrangler. That's what we need.
Yep. Because, your boy is about to head over to Enterprise Exotic.
No, I know. We'll just get another Wrangler when we go back out there.
All right, everybody. So anyhow, we appreciate you. We're going to bounce off this podcast and hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, we'll be back here next week for another one.
Yes, I will drag him over here.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.